Alright, welcome back YouTubers. Today we have a fun-filled and action-packed video on this Ford CD player. It's actually a 6-disc changer. So any of you folks who have a 6-disc changer in a, I don't know what vintage exactly this is, but this truck is an '02 Ford Super Duty. If you have one that won't take a CD, won't play a CD, doesn't like CDs in general, this video may be for you guys. So we're going to go right in and get down to the nitty-gritty here on what's going on with this radio. And we're going to go ahead and fire up the truck, turn the ignition on. I'll make sure the volume's off. And let's go ahead and hit the CD button. Now I know I have CDs in here. See, it says CD error. Let's hit the CD. See if it even finds it. I would be amazed. Chances are it will say error of some sort. There we go. So, I've got 3 CDs stuck in this changer, so we're going to go ahead and remove it. In order to do so, you need some sort of apparatus with which to remove the radio. These just happen to be from Matco M7576. This is for the Ford radios. Basically, you could darn near make this out of a coat hanger, of which I've tried before, but these work a lot easier. They've got a little... Let's see if I can get my hand in there to get it to focus. Got a little nubbin on the end of it there. And basically, these guys... Boy, that doesn't want to focus very well. They go in the holes on the side of the radio. Push in. Trying to do this one-handed because I don't have any room for a tripod in the truck. So there and there. And let's see if I can prop you guys up. Probably not. I don't know. Is that going to get us there? That's not going to get us there. Let's try this. Not going to get us there. Alright. So there you go. You have them in there. And, well, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, so... I can't remember if you have to pull toward the center or push toward the outsides. I believe it's pull toward the center. And I get one side free and then the other side. It doesn't want to play nice today. So basically we'll just sit here and fight with it until it wants to come out. Alright, so here's what I was doing wrong. These do have to be pulled toward the outside and then just wiggle back and forth and then she'll come. So once you get it out, you have things such as, with this one, just your antenna in and your plug for the power. So we'll go ahead and get those disconnected and we'll get her on the bench. Alright, so I've got myself set up on a bench. I got a little towel set down. And you might ask yourself, so what makes this go no worky? Well, hear that? I don't know if you hear it or not. We'll see if this is a serviceable unit. So first things first, what tools are we going to need? Well, I've had this apart before and I'll be darned if I can remember how to do it. But you need some very small Torx bits to take the faceplate off, because we need to separate this from the CD player and radio unit. So we're going to go ahead and work on getting some tools together, and I'll bring you back and we'll start the disassembly process. Alright, time to find out what make this go no worky. So, oh, look at that first guess, looks like a T10. And again, it's been a while since I tore one of these apart, so bear with me. It's nice to have a little magnetic tray or something to put your little bitty screws in, because you're not going to have these in your toolbox, most likely. I can't remember if this faceplate has to come off, but it's coming off. That's just the way it goes. So there's only the 4 screws in this, 2 on the top sides, 2 on bottom sides, and that's that. Let's see. Okay, so in the event of full disclosure here, let's zoom. That's not going to work for you guys. That doesn't work for me. So here's where your screws came out, there and there. Depress these little tabs with some sort of implement of mass destruction, and go ahead and pop this faceplate off here. So we'll go ahead and give you guys a look-em-see at that. I have to push very hard, I don't believe. I have done this before, trust me. Okay, maybe you don't have to depress those. Let's see, there's some other little plastic tabbage there. This could end up being one of my worst videos yet. Well, guess we don't have to do the depression game. Slide it forward. Don't get crazy, because you're gonna find that you have this little plug right here on the back of the board. Gently remove that. It only goes in one way, but I will remember that the blue wire will be toward the left side of this faceplate, toward the knob, if you flip it up. So we'll go ahead and remove. Sorry for the earthquakey camera there. Okay, set faceplate aside. And the next order of operations. How with which did I do this the last time? Well, it appears that we're going to remove these screws on one side or the other to separate the CD from the radio portion of this. They are not a T10, I'm going to guess they're a 15. Let's see. That's a 20, so we'll go get a T15er and give her a roll here. When in doubt, go to your special China freight kit and pull out some tools. Last time I did this, I did it on the kitchen table at home and had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Was able to reassemble it. It worked for a while, but then I realized the error of my ways on what I should have been doing. I found previously that there is a little plastic worm gear that moves the carriage, that moves the CDs around. Let's see, did that get us freed up? Yep, just removing those got us freed up, so let's, I'm going to roll a chair over here because I don't feel like standing anymore. Let's go ahead and pick up. Okay, so now we have the CD changer thing removed. Let's do this. You'll find a little ribbon cable in there that needs to be removed. And remember this guy? That guy just came right through the front of this faceplate. I want to say maybe down in the lower part. Should probably have made note of that. So we'll remove this ribbon cable, which requires us to lift up on that little locking tab, and so boom, that's how she goes. So now we'll have this baby split into two pieces and we can do our deal. I am not an electronics repair expert, nor do I play one on YouTube or claim to be. Not a whole hell of a lot to her. So now is the point we have to play Disassemble. Now, There's plenty of inner workings in here. The way I go about this is to start removing the screws on the side to take the chassis cover off. You'll see that these are some form of Phillips. That one says a Phillips 1. Let's see how that fits. If I can hold my hand straight. That feels like gravy. Let's go with that. So let's take that top one out. Let's take this top one out. And the top one. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. That's what I get for having too much coffee this morning. Okay, I believe... even put a little arrow there to tell you what you missed. Way more screws than I recall. And I guess we actually have to remove these bottom ones. Now, there is a suspension system in here to keep your CD from going no skippy skippy over the bumps. And we'll see that here in a second, because I believe that we need to be working on removing that. Let's see. Okay, that comes up. C'est voila. There we go. Now, we're going to take a little peekaboo in here, and hopefully I didn't dump that little worm gear on the floor, but we will find out what happened to it. So here we have some CDs in there. I'm going to spin that to the side and spin her rightwise so that you can see how I go about removing these. It's not really rocket science, it's just what I do. I suppose you could leave them in their place. Basically, see if I remember how to do this. They all have to come up to where these top rollers are to get them out. So you will be lifting up on these to get that angle where you need it. You don't need to be forceful. These are in the bottom slots, so we're going to just pick up one by one on those. I'll do one depending on how many CDs you guys have stuck. If you have CDs you care about, you will use something other than a screwdriver to lift up on this. These are not in the greatest shape, so we will just lift up. I believe, well, maybe that's not how I got them out the last time. Well, shucks. I'll bring you back in a second when I figure out what I'm trying not to teach you. Welcome back, riders. Okay, here's what I'm going to show you. You'll see that little white worm gear sitting down in there. That is what has come off of its home. You notice it is not destroyed. There's nothing wrong with it. It is not chewed up. It just comes off of the shaft that it goes on. And I believe you'll see it here in the front. There's black colored ones in those openings. And those are part of the system to raise and lower the front of this. However, the back cannot raise and lower itself if it does not have one attached. So, I will show you. You can, I believe, see, maybe I'll point with the screwdriver, right off the tip of that screwdriver. There is a gear right there, and this shaft. That shaft right there is where this worm gear goes. And I just have to remember which direction. It does have some ways cut in it right there, a little. I got white on a white background. Boy, talk about pissing off a camera. Yep. Put that against something darker. See if it'll focus. There you go, I guess. That's probably the best way to show it, and then the other side does not. So, I'll go ahead and rip some CDs out of this thing in a most beastful manner, and see if we can't show you anything. Maybe a complete fail, but hey, it's a video. Put you guys back up on the old Camarito stand. Alright, if I was a CD that was going to pop out of this carriage, how would I want to come out? Well, back of this, I believe, has to go up a little ways, and I may have taken the suspension, which are these little guys. I may have removed those before. I'm going to try and do this without all that rigmarole because I think it was overkill. I don't think I needed to do all that the last go around. There we go. Out in Z. There are springs on this I've removed before, and let me tell you, if you can get by doing this job without removing the springs on this, you may be in a hell of a lot better position because it will drive you batshit crazy. Especially if you have surgeon's hands like mine, where I shake so much that I would probably paralyze you. Uno, dos. Oh shit. That one might not be the easiest one to get out. That bottom one's in there pretty good. Audiophiles beware. This is not the way that most people treat their equipment and or their CDs, but we're going to get her apart. The Barbarian's Guide to CD Changer Repair. This is gonna be a bitch. So basically, fumbling and prodding, poking, doing whatever you need to do to get that front of that CD started there, then pick the rest of the chassis up. It is spring loaded. As long as you're not gorilla-like with it, it should let you have all of your CDs. Why did that stay up? There we go. So, the plan, man, is to get that worm gear back in its home. And I've done this once before. It's a press fit. I am going to put a dab of cyanoacrylate glue. For those of you who don't know what cyanoacrylate is, that is super glue. So, I am going to try, let's see if I can prop this up a little for inquiring minds to figure this out. Basically, the way to do this, I found before. There we go. You start the gear down on that shaft and spin it until it bottoms in there on its gear that it has to contact with. There's no way for me to actually show you this. This will be a trial and error to figure it out. It's just too tight of an area for me to keep the camera in here and have my big gorilla mitts in the way. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This is probably the most important part. Unfortunately, there's no good angle to get the camera in. We'll bring you back. Alright, I think this is the best view I'm going to be able to give you folks. So I have got some cyanoacrylate glue here. We're ready to go. I got a little pair of needle nose pliers to get this started, and also, I don't know if you can see this, this is a security type bit. Spanner type bit. Come on, work with me. There you go. Which actually will go in those two little nubbins. So we can spin her right down on there. That shaft is the shaft of the motor that makes the carriage go up and down to change your CD. So it will spin freely so that you may thread this right down into the shaft. So I'm going to put a drop of super glue on this. maybe. Don't want any of that on the gear itself, or that will be not good. Just down in the opening. Grab it gently here with the pliers. And get it on its shaft and work it right down into its spot. Now why this sucker doesn't want to go, I don't know. I'll bring you back. Well, through smoke screens and magic off-camera trickery, I managed to get that worm gear back in there. I just wasn't being forceful enough. I was trying to be nice about it and spin it easily, but it just needed a little bit of push to it. And with the super glue on it, and now you see it's got it looks black. Well, that's thanks to this stuff right here, this Q-Bond. Works pretty good for a lot of things. This is the reinforcing powder, and that's basically just grabbing the tip of that. Hopefully that's enough grip to spin a CD up and out, but basically you put that on there, just one little drop, and with the tip of a screwdriver or whatever you have, dab some of that powder on there. You just don't want it on the gear mating surfaces, or you will have glued your whole unit together and it will be rendered useless. So we will reverse the whole procedure here and begin the reassemblation. Probably not a word, but it sounds cool. Just go with it. So it's only been 20 minutes since I started disassembly, but it'll probably take me 10 minutes to reassemble it. We'll put her back in the truck and see what happens. Alright, so reversal of that disassembly gets you this. Now that your gear has got a little dab of cyanoacrylate glue on it, super glue, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure epoxy would work too, just something to give a little tooth and hold on to that shaft. It doesn't take much power to spin the changer to change the CDs, but we're going to go ahead and see if she wants to load a CD. So we will hit the load button and let's tell it to put it in slot number 1. Let's see if the little magic door opens. She's a noisy little cuss. Make sure the volume's off because we don't want to have anything playing. Thus the YouTube police will just rely on the counter here. Look at that, she's a player. So we'll try and eject it. And see if it pukes it back out. There she goes. She's noisy, but she goes in and out. So there you guys go. That's how I chose to repair this unit. It may not be the most proper way to do it, but it seemed to have worked. And we'll see how long it lasts. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you soon.